Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna te Namaha Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Today's topic I have selected, Seeing the Light. All the spiritual aspirants desire to have the experience of the bliss. But it is possible to experience that high state only when we undertake strict spiritual disciplines. Sri Ramakrishna singing has said, "Light up, O mind, light up true wisdom's shining lamp, and it will burn with a steady flame unceasingly within your heart." Sri Ramakrishna experienced that ecstatic joy when he was 10 or 11 years old. For the first time he experienced samadhi, total absorption. There are certain characteristics of God vision. One sees light, one feels tremendous joy, and one experiences the upsurge of a great current in one's chest, like the bursting of a rocket. When Sri Ramakrishna first had his exalted state of mind, his body would radiate light. His chest was always flushed. Whenever he would walk in the streets, people would crowd in order to have the darshan of Sri Ramakrishna. They were gazing at him, looking most shining personality of Sri Ramakrishna. There was divine glow emanating from the whole body of Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna would often feel embarrassed to see so many people lining up to see him as soon as he walks out of the room. Whenever he goes out, several people would immediately gather and just keep looking at him. So he prayed to the Divine Mother, "O Mother, please do not reveal yourself outwardly. Please go inside. Please go inside." As soon as Sri Ramakrishna prayed most earnestly with the Divine Mother to withdraw that shining light emanating from his body, it was granted. Thence onwards, his complexion became dull, most ordinary. If his body was still luminous, people would have tormented him. A crowd would always thronged here. Now there is no outer manifestation that keeps weeds away. Only those who are very sincere, they come to him. They are drawn towards him. All sorts of people need not come unless they are well prepared for spiritual life. There is no point in their coming and just sitting there. Sri Ramakrishna had visions described in the scriptures. Sometimes he saw the universe filled with sparks of fire. Sometimes he saw all the quarters glittering with light, as if the world were a lake of mercury. Sometimes he saw the world as if made of liquid silver. Sometimes again he saw all the quarters illumined as if with the light of Roman candles. Mahendranath Gupta, writing about what he witnessed that day, in the twinkling of an eye, Sri Ramakrishna went into deep samadhi. Mahendranath Gupta is describing. An amazing transformation took place in the Master before the very eyes of the devotees. Sri Ramakrishna's face shone with a heavenly light. The Vedas speak of 7 planes where the mind can dwell. When the mind is immersed in worldliness, it dwells in the 3 lower planes below the heart center. Heart is the third center. The 4th plane of the mind is at the heart. First is Mooladhara, second Swadhisthana, third Manipura. Heart center is 4th, Anahata. And then Ajna, Vishuddha Ajna. Vishuddha at the throat, Ajna between the eyebrows, and Sahasrara, the last chakra at the brain center. So the 4th plane of the mind is at the heart. When the mind dwells there, one has the first glimpse of spiritual consciousness. One sees light all around. Such a person, perceiving the divine light, becomes speechless with wonder and says, "Oh, what is this? What is this?" His mind doesn't go downward to the objects of the world. The fifth plane of the mind is at the throat. When the mind reaches this, the aspirant becomes free from all ignorance and illusion. The sixth plane is at the forehead, between the eyebrows. When the mind dwells there, the aspirant sees the form of God day and night. But even then, a little trace of ego remains. In the top of the head is the seventh plane. When the mind rises there, one goes into samadhi. When a person reaches that state, he will have full satisfaction of the experience. He will have the direct perception of Brahman. Generally, the body doesn't remain alive after the attainment of such samadhi. After the well is dug, one generally throws away the spade and basket, but some keep them in order to help their neighbors. So also, the great souls who retain their bodies after samadhi feel compassion for the suffering of others. They are not so selfish as to be satisfied with their own illumination. We need a new set of organs to experience what is beyond the range of our present senses. We need, in fact, a body to experience what we haven't experienced yet, the transcendent reality or God. Sri Ramakrishna says, God cannot be seen with these physical eyes. In the course of spiritual discipline, one gets a body endowed with love eyes, love ears, and so on. One sees God with those love eyes. One hears the voice of God with those love ears. With this love body, the soul communes with God. Lord Krishna also tells the same thing to Arjuna, that the cosmic form, Vishwarup, cannot be seen with ordinary eyes. So Lord Krishna granted Arjuna divine eyes, Divya Chakshus, in order to have the vision of the cosmic form. Aneka Vaktra Nayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, Aneka Divya Bharanam, Divya Aneko Dyatayudham, Divya Malyambaradharam, Divya Gandha Anulepanam, Sarvashcharyamayam Devamanantam Vishwato Mukham. Sri Krishna had said this in chapter 11. Then Arjuna saw the cosmic form of the Lord with numerous mouths and eyes, with numerous wondrous sights, with numerous celestial ornaments, with numerous celestial weapons uplifted, wearing celestial garlands and apparel, anointed with celestial scented unguents, the all wonderful, resplendent, boundless, and all formed. How did Arjuna know that the Lord was anointed with celestial scented unguents? A scent cannot be seen, it has to be smelt. Obviously, Arjuna had also received a divine nose to smell that. More is yet to come. Arjuna later describes seeing gods enter into the cosmic form. Amehitvam surasangha vishanti, kechit bhitaha pranjalayo grananti, swastityuktva maharshi siddha sanghaha, stuvantitvam stutibihi pushkalabhihi. Chapter 11, verse number 31. Some extol thee in fear with joined palm, may it be well. Thus saying, bands of great rishis and siddhas praise thee with splendid hymns. How did Arjun hear all this? We have got to accept he had acquired divine ears as well. Even divine skin. How else could he have felt the fierce burning rays emanating from the Lord and filling the whole world with radiance? Lelihyase grisamanaha samantal lokan samagran vadanai jvaladbihi tejo bhirapurya jagat samagram bhasastavograha pratapanti Vishnu. So we see that although the Lord is said to have given Arjun divine eyes, what he had really given was a divine body, a love body. In the words of Sri Ramakrishna, with a set of divine sense organs. The third eye between the eyebrows is only a symbol of a whole set of extrasensory faculties which come to a person through the grace of God. God's grace is unconditional in the sense that God sets no conditions to make His divine gifts available. They are always available. Who prevents me from getting them? I prevent myself from getting them. I have myself slammed the door shut, and now I sit in a corner and weep and wonder why God's grace doesn't come to lift me up. How can it come if I don't open the door? This is something I must do myself. This opening the door of the heart to let in God's grace. The door is opened through the purity of life. God reveals Himself to the pure heart, says Swami Vivekananda in Complete Works. Faith, desire for spiritual freedom, and practice of unbroken continence for 12 years develop a special nerve called Medha, which is a source of tremendous mental, intellectual and spiritual power. It removes a screen, as it were, of the mind, and the person develops deep insights and clarity of perception. It is this phenomenon that is symbolically spoken of in the scriptures as the opening of the third eye or the awakening of the Kundalini. Everyone has that spiritual power. That spiritual power is called Kundalini. Only that has to be aroused and stabilized. So one must prepare oneself for that awakening. You must be strong enough to contain that experience. The world around us is full of symbols. Every object, every word, every thought, even every person we see is a symbol of some reality. We will know our third eye has opened if we are able to penetrate these symbols and gaze into the reality beyond. Sri Ramakrishna said to Pranakrishna, one of the devotees, he said, the fact is that one must have the spiritual eye. You will develop that eye as soon as your mind becomes pure. Take for instance the Kumari Puja. Sri Ramakrishna says that I worshipped a virgin. The girl, to be sure, had all her human imperfections. Still, I regarded her as the Divine Mother herself. On one side is the wife, and on the other the sun. Love is bestowed on both, but in different ways. Therefore it comes to this, that everything depends upon the mind. The pure mind acquires a new attitude. Through that mind one sees God in this world. Therefore one needs spiritual discipline. Yes, spiritual discipline is necessary. Very clearly, Sri Ramakrishna has said that one has to be disciplined in spiritual life. Regular meditation, regular japa are important to maintain the purity level. Even though people may come across difficulties, yet you must be strong enough not to let go of the discipline, but to hold on with more vigor and keep constantly praying, meditating, repeating God's name. In that process, slowly one gets transformation in the system. The whole metabolic system gets changed for the better. When that happens, one is ready to get the vision of God, and one doesn't aspire for anything in this world and is totally satisfied by the vision of God, and then he feels total fulfillment in life. Then he feels tremendously blessed. So, to what extent we are paying our attention to spiritual discipline, to that extent we go forward in spiritual path. For some reason, if you stop doing practices properly, in those moments you will be just halting your spiritual progress for the time being. But please note, spiritual path is always followed by spiritual discipline. And spiritual discipline is possible with strong will. So, if we follow these instructions of Sri Ramakrishna, then we certainly can have samadhi, can realize God, can have the vision of our chosen deity before we cast off this body. Sri Ramakrishna said, page number 791, Gauri would not refer to himself as I, lest he should feel egotistic. He would say this instead. I followed his example and would refer to myself as this instead of I. Instead of saying I have eaten, I would say this has eaten. Mathur noticed it and said one day, what is this, Reverend Father? Why should you talk that way? Let them talk that way. They have their egoism. You are free from it. You don't have to talk like them. I said to Keshav, since the ego cannot be given up, let it remain as the servant of God. Prahlada had two moods. Sometimes he would feel that he was God. In that mood he would say, Thou art verily I, and I am verily thou. But when he was conscious of his ego, he felt that God was a master and he was his servant. After a man is firmly established in the ideal of I am he can live as God's servant. He may then think of himself as the servant of God. To Captain, Sri Ramakrishna said, when a man attains the knowledge of Brahman, he shows certain characteristics. The Bhagavata describes 4 of them: the state of a child, of an inert thing, of a madman, and of a ghoul. Sometimes the knower of Brahman acts like a 5-year-old child. Sometimes he acts like a madman. Sometimes he remains like an inert thing. In this state he cannot work. He renounces all action. You may say that Jnanis like Janaka were active. The truth is that people in olden times gave responsibility to their subordinate officers and thus freed themselves from worry. Further, at that time men possessed intense faith. Sri Ramakrishna began to speak about the renunciation of action, but he also said that those who felt they must do their duties should do them in a detached spirit. Master said, after attaining knowledge, one cannot do much work. Trailokya asked, why so, sir? Pavari Baba was a great Jnani, and yet he reconciled people's quarrels, even lawsuits. Master said, yes, that's true. Dr. Durgacharan was a great drunkard. He used to drink 24 hours a day, but he was precise in his actions. He did not make any mistake in treating his patients. There is no harm in doing work after the attainment of bhakti, but it is very hard. One needs intense tapasya. It is God who does everything. We are his instruments. Some Sikhs said to me in front of the Kali temple, God is compassionate. I said, to whom is he compassionate? Why, revered sir? To all of us, said the Sikhs. I said, we are his children. Does compassion to one's own children mean much? A father must look after his children. Or do you expect the people of the neighborhood to bring them up? Well, won't those who say that God is compassionate ever understand that we are God's children and not someone else's? Captain said, yes, you are right, sir. They don't regard God as their own. Master said, should we not then address God as compassionate? Of course we should, as long as we practice sadhana. After realizing God, one rightly feels that God is our father or mother. As long as we have not realized God, we feel that we are far away from him, children of someone else. I shall stop here. Any questions? Easy to hear, difficult to practice. No questions? Huh? Uh-huh. Yeah, the point is, one sees the light and it remains with him. Not only seeing the light, he sees all the forms of gods and goddesses. But he should maintain purity level in order to be well established in that experience. That's the point. So once you have that joy of, another point is, once you feel that experience, it must generate in your heart a tremendous joy. That's the indication. And that is possible only when you are desireless. Suppose a person has a lot of desires. He doesn't want to be absorbed in that divine light, and he feels, oh, I got so many things to do, what will happen to me? Have I gone crazy? What will happen to me? He is frightened. That means his mind is not ready. If the mind is ready, he should not be frightened at all. Why should he be frightened? When he is seeing the divine light, what else he wants? He doesn't want anything else but God himself. But if he is showing the signs of fear, that means some weakness is there which should be removed. So you have to pray to God to make you strong enough to understand and to be with him all the time. And if you are able to maintain that attitude of constantly being associated with God, then you would naturally become fearless, because God is always with you. He is protecting you from all the dangers, and he takes full responsibility of the devotee. Ananyas chintayanto mam yogkshemam vahamyaham. I take the responsibility of one who constantly thinks of me, says Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So, to maintain that purity level, that's all that is required. That's why we do all these things: selfless work, meditation, prayer, holy company. All these things are being constantly thought of just to maintain the purity level. Just to be free from the egoistic tendencies. The more you come towards God, the more humble you must become. When you are reaching the point of God vision, you will be humbler than the humblest. And that is a sign of realization. So always one should be aware of these spiritual ideas, and consciously he should do practice, undergo discipline. That's all that is needed. Then everybody can see the light. The same light, one can see the light as the Divine Mother. The same light one can see as Sri Ramakrishna. So you will have that Vishwarupa Darshan, that is seeing God everywhere. And you feel God is doing everything. That realization will come. In order to have that realization, your whole system must be divinized. Divine eyes, divine nose, divine ears, divine mind. All the organs get transformed into divinity. Sri Ramakrishna says one gets love body, love ears, love eyes. But ordinarily we can't see with these gross eyes the vision of God. We need celestial eyes, divya chakshus. That's what Sri Krishna says. So, only after granting divine eyes to Arjun, then only he could see the cosmic form. And India has got any question? Purity of mind means one should not be entertaining any worldly desires in the mind. Mind should not hanker after the pleasures of the world. So one should always feel more and more joyful in reciting God's name. These are the indications of purity, and one should not feel egoistic. And one must be always be helpful and serving attitude should be there. Serving with the idea that all are the children of God. I am doing my humble service. That attitude is important. If you are able to maintain that, that's called purity. Otherwise you will be swayed by the worldly pulse. Worldly current is very strong, because the mind is just tainted by worldliness so much, passing through so many births previously. So naturally the worldly current is so strong. So you have to be more strong to overcome that. Every day, day by day, you must feel upliftment in your life. That's the indication of purity. More and more, every day, day by day, you must feel more and more drawn towards God, more inward, joyful, dynamic. So, Rajas tending to Sattva, not Rajas going down to Tamas. That we don't want. That will give negative result. Rajas going to Tamas, Rajas tending to Tamas means mind slipping to worldly way of thinking. That is mind slipping down. But to keep the mind alive, always seeing how the mind runs and take proper steps to see how it is on the high plane. So in order to do that, you have to be active mentally. Any action is karma. So if you do mentally, if you are very active, filling up the mind with repetition of Lord's name, discussing spiritual ideas, dwelling upon the message of the Upanishads, Vedanta, constantly remembering that way mind has no time to think of other things. But why we are not able to maintain purity level? Because we are totally engaged in worldly things. Most of the time we are in the worldly matters. Maybe hardly 5% or 10% of the mind may be towards God. Even that's also questionable. So, how much percentage of your mind is towards God? That's important. So results depends upon the maintenance of purity level. I always color Rupa. No, it depends upon what attitude you are having towards the ideal. Suppose you want God should be appeared to you in the form of Lord Christ, then you have to visualize. You have to concentrate upon the form of Lord Christ. Or if your mind is hankering after looking God as Sri Ramakrishna, so you must visualize the form of Sri Ramakrishna, and it becomes alive. It talks to you. That's the point. And light, suppose you are not aspiring for any forms, and just you want to dissolve yourself totally in the divine, then you get the vision of the light. But all these things gives you immense joy. Whether light, whether form or formless aspect, you get real joy. Real joy is always associated with peace of real peace. You have time. Real peace, that's why you get real joy. Yeah. Afterwards, yeah, it shivers because of a mild sensation in the mind. Sometimes it happens, not necessarily meditating. Even reading. If you're excited, you get shivering for a second, for a minute, because the joy makes you shiver. It's an expression of feeling. Yeah. Yeah, daily work, Sri Ramakrishna said, always associate your work with God. You think, you remember God and do the work. That's the way. Suppose your mind is not thinking, part of the mind should be allowed to think of God, the rest of the mind is at work. And when you are totally free, make the whole mind think of God. Like that you have to build up. So when you constantly think of God, what happens? You get spirit of vairagya. You get dispassion. You don't feel interested in worldly things anymore. That becomes very strong in your mind. You do the work like duty, that's all. Nothing more than that. And the final analysis, the duty also drops away. Duty you are doing for the sake of God, yes, you owe something to the society, to the people around. You do that in that detached spirit. That's the way how one should conduct. And one should not be totally engaged in external activities so much. He finds no time to do his upasana. That's not good. So you have to strike a balance. You must provide some time for japa and meditation, reading of scriptures. The first priority should be towards your spiritual activity. That should be done. Then you do engage in any other work, but still the same thought will continue. Like that. So you get more and more dispassion towards the world. We shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.